I feel like people that have been through stuff usually can change the world by what they've been through if they've been through something really hard. And my story goes way back to when I was a teenager and I didn't like myself because I was made fun of really bad to the point where I thought the world would be better off without me. And I wanted to do everybody a favor to not have to look at my ugly face anymore because they reminded me every day how ugly I was. And then when I was 16, 2 days after Thanksgiving, the police came to our door and told
Life is what you make it. Learn to make lemonade out of lemons. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Podcast with Sheila, the podcast that is spreading positivity around the world by sharing inspiring life experiences. Today's guest, Heidi Alldredge, is a wife, mother, grandmother, realtor, motivational speaker, teacher, hot chocolate bomb maker, and podcaster, as well as a former radio host. Heidi will be sharing with us personal stories of the past that shaped her into the woman she is today. Hello, Heidi, and welcome to Podcast with Sheila.
Hi, it's great to meet you, Sheila.
Great to meet you too. You know, just when I read the bit that said grandmother, it didn't make sense to me because, before we came on, I was just saying you didn't look like a grandmother at all. So this is really, really impressive. And I think I would let you share your secret towards the end of the podcast. If I remember, I'm going to note it down because I would like to look like you when I get there. You know what I mean? But in brief, who is Heidi? Where does she come from? Stuff like that before we set the ball rolling.
Yeah, I'm Heidi and I'm in Utah.
Okay.
And I have 3 kids and 5 grandkids. And I used to host a radio talk show and now I'm a podcaster and motivational speaker. So that's all about me.
Wow. Great. Every successful person has a story to tell. What will yours be and what were the lessons you learned from that?
Right. I think so too. And that's actually why I started the lemonade stand. I feel like people that have been through stuff usually can change the world by what they've been through if they've been through something really hard. And my story goes way back to when I was a teenager and I didn't like myself because I was made fun of really bad to the point where I thought the world would be better off without me. And I wanted to do everybody a favor to not have to look at my ugly face anymore because they reminded me every day how ugly I was. And then when I was 16, 2 days after Thanksgiving, the police came to our door and told us that our dad had just taken his life. He had just died by suicide. And his suicide note said that everyone will be better off now without him.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I just can't. And at the time, I just remember thinking, like, that didn't help anything. This is terrible for us. It was me and my 4 little brothers. I was the oldest at 16, down to 7 years old. And my dad has missed everything. He missed me graduating high school and getting married and having children and now having grandchildren. And to think that he'd be a great grandpa right now if he would have had some foresight to know that days can get better and things can improve. And so I just kind of went on a little mission, after that of just seeing people more instead of being so consumed with myself and how miserable I was and I was being made fun of and how I thought life was better off without me. And I decided to turn that around. I didn't want anybody else to feel that way again. So I really kind of made it my mission to reach out to people and make friends with people and notice people and smile at people and just be more aware of those around me instead of consumed with myself. So that was a big change for me.
Wow.
It was a big moment in my life.
Yeah. As you were talking, a lot of things kept rushing into my head. I wrote a few of them down. I hope I'll be able to talk about it. Like, I gather is a kind of bullying situation going on, isn't it? When somebody picks on you and make them feel, like you said, you're not beautiful and stuff like that. They must be very crazy to think you're not beautiful because look at you now, And I believe that we don't change too much from the way we look as we are little. I remember when I was growing up, if you look at my face, I think now it blends a bit with my face. But when I was growing up, I had a big nose. You get it? And the boys will pick on me in school. But for some reason, I had a big, I had a lot of words. You cannot tell me things and then you go free. I'm going to give you back to you in my words. I was strong like that because, I'm quick with my mouth like that. So they couldn't get to me that much. They not even much at all. But it isn't everybody who is like that. And then it looks like people cannot, like the way I am, voice out. So they'll rather bottle it in. And that is where the problem arises. So you've been there. What can we say to people who go through these subtle bullying situations? They may not even see it as bullying. Some of them may not, because it's quite subtle, but it's having a serious impact on the person. What can we say to them to quickly snap out of it and not move so much into the negative?
Oh, well, you are a great example. And so I'm so proud of you to be able to just stand up to people and not believe it. Yeah. And I really think that is the key. For me, I wasn't confident enough. And so I definitely believed. Yeah. I felt like at the time I remember thinking, well, if they said it, it must be true. Yeah. And I did have a big nose as well. And it was very large. It was a man's nose. I had my dad's nose, and my brother's. And so it was true. And so I think I just felt even more like, wow, they must really know. And I must really be hard to look at because, and so you just believe it. Yeah. And even I hear today in my head of how can you drink out of a cup and, call me bird beak and, things that you can just, you'll never forget those mean words. Yeah. But I think it goes back to your example of just not believing it and having that confidence. And now I teach people to question the things in your mind, question your thoughts, question things that are said to you. And the biggest thing is don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Exactly. And I think that's a key, something we need to realize. Like, we are believing these haters. And my mom would always tell me when I come home crying, she's like, oh, they're just jealous. You're actually really beautiful. And they just are saying that because they're jealous. And I'm like, that's just cruel. Like, it's just mean. And so I learned now that it's like, don't value other people's opinions. Yeah. If it's not somebody you really value. Yeah. Like, people you love and care about and have your best interest will tell you the truth. So don't believe everything you hear.
That's true. But, for me, I've never liked bullying. I remember one time we went to Mass. When we're going to Mass, I had put a gentleman's shoe on my son. Then he said, oh, Mom, I don't want to wear it. I want to wear sneakers. And I said, why do you want to wear sneakers? You cannot always be in sneakers. And I was telling him that when you go to Mass, look at the real gentlemen. You see the way they are dressed. Proper shirt with the belt and the shoe, nice. And so I asked him, why don't you? Because he was at it. I don't want to wear it. If I'm wearing it, I'm not going. So I asked him why. He said, there is this guy in my Sunday school. He always laughs at my shoe. So I asked him, what shoe does he wear to Mass? He said he puts on Canvas. I said, okay, put on your shoe, your proper shoe. Let's go. Now, when we go, look at all the men who come forward with the offertory. Look at their shoes. Oh, then he came and said, oh, Mommy, I saw them. Now I like it. Sometimes, and the thing is for the children to be able to open up to us, for us to talk to them about it. Because if he doesn't open up, I'll not know. But once he opens up, I'll be able to talk to him about it. Another situation was he came back home, he said, PE time, they were changing, and I give him white briefs, panties, and his singlet white. I tell him, I want you to know what to buy when you grow up. Don't be buying red briefs, green, all those multicolored. So he said, I don't want to wear white anymore. I said, why don't you want to wear white? Because when we were changing PE time, my friends were laughing at me. Why were they laughing at you? Because I didn't have character pants. I said, character pants are not for gentlemen. Gentlemen wear it white. And, I tell him things like that. And I make fun of it, but I make him accept it, that what he has is best for him. Well, it may not be best in other homes, but in our home, I make him understand it's best. And I think in that way, I build their confidence, sort of. Sometimes I tell them, when they do it and you don't like it, tell them stop, and in a lower voice, stop. The last one, shout at him, stop. I don't like it. So things like that. But if the child is not letting the parent know this is what is happening, definitely we cannot help them in that regard.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you have to have that relationship with your children, so
Exactly.
they will come to you and tell you, like, these kids are saying these
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
about me, and then you can talk to your children about it.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah.
They have to be able to be open to you, and we can't shut our kids down. Like,
Exactly.
if it's important to them and something hurting them and bothering them, we can't just, oh, too bad, suck it up, walk it off,
Yeah.
because we need to help them feel confident.
Exactly.
And so there are tools and things you can do to teach them and help them not listen to the haters and
Yeah.
not believe them. That's the key, is don't let it affect your core like it did for me, to the point where I didn't want to live anymore.
Oh
I don't
my
want
God.
it to get that bad for anybody.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. Wow. As a former radio talk show host who has interviewed people about lemons and lemonade situations, what will your lemon be, and what lemonade did you make out of the situation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Definitely my dad's death was kind of my first big lemon. And then it got to the point where I kind of fell back into that depression like 10 years later. I really struggled with like infertility. So I had all these thoughts in my mind of like, I'm being punished and I'm not a good mom and I'm not a good enough person. And just those negative thoughts again just kind of came back, just showing me that, that I just wasn't enough and couldn't do anything right. And I was complaining a lot, and we were having financial, not financial struggles, just poor, we just couldn't really afford anything. And it was just like not a good time.
Yeah.
And I was venting to a friend of mine, and she just told me she can't hang around with me anymore. She said, "You're too negative.
Yeah.
I can't be around your negativity. You're bringing me down, and I don't want to be around you anymore. Have a nice life." And that was quite the lemon for me personally, because I am such a people pleaser and I love people and I enjoy being with people, that really crushed me to like, am I really that negative? And I remember going to my husband like, am I that bad? And he's like, well, he didn't want to admit it, but he's like, you definitely struggle seeing the positive side of things. And I'm like, wow, okay, I need to work on this. And I realized that I was kind of doing the opposite law of attraction. Like, I was attracting everything negative to my life, to the point where I'm like, today this hard thing happened, well, tomorrow more hard things are going to happen. And I was looking for hard things. I was looking for bad. I was looking for the negative to just justify, yep, I knew life was going to suck, so there it is, and I just constantly was bringing it to my life. And I decided to kind of look outside myself after that and be like, wait, do other people have problems and they're happy? Like, is this possible? And so I started hearing stories of people that have overcome really bad lemons, like way worse than what I was dealing with. And I went to a radio station and I said, this was back in the day, 1999, when that was what we had. We had Oprah, so we had radio talk show, we had Dr. Laura, we had television talk show. And I just was like, this is how to get a message out, is to be on the radio.
Yeah.
And they said, sure, you can interview people on the radio. So I started my radio talk show where I could interview people who have really overcome hard things, and they've started support groups, or they've started organizations, or they've written a book, or they've done some really amazing things because of the really tragic things they've endured. And that was a gift to my life and such a blessing to my life. So very, very grateful for that experience and meeting all those incredible lemonade makers that I got to meet back then. And then the pandemic hit in 2020, and I'm like, we need the lemonade stand again.
Yeah.
we need to do this again. And it was easier to do it as a podcast this time, to be able to reach you as people all across the world from me. And so it's been a great gift. I've interviewed over 200 lemonade makers now, and incredible stories. Like, I can't even, they're amazing. Things that you would never want to go through.
Wow. Now, okay, amongst all the lemon stories you've heard, which of them stands out for you that you can share here?
That's a good question. Yeah. It's like, what's your favorite child? You never want to answer like, but there are, because there are some, like, all of them have something they brought to my life. But the ones that really, really resonate the most with me, where I feel the most, are either people who have dealt with suicide, that resonates with me, or people who have dealt with death, like the death of a child, or death of a teenager, stuff like that. That's and how they've gone on to like start a support group, and how they do help people with grief and counseling, and they've written a book or different things they've done to share their story to inspire and encourage other people to be able to get through what they're going through. And so those are the ones that stick with me the most, that I play in my head and remember when I'm having a rough day. I'm like, okay, I've got this, and they inspire me.
Wow, that's beautiful. What is happiness to you?
That is a really good question.
Yeah.
I used to think that happiness was something you get to. Like I used to say, I'll be happy when I graduate from high school. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when we have children. I'll be happy when we build a house. Yeah. And so each time I'd actually achieve that thing, I'm like, oh, I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when I have kids. And now I'm like, oh, I'll be happy when the kids grow up, and you're just kind of constantly like looking for the next thing to be happy for. And I realized that happiness is not that. It's not a place you get to. It's actually just the way we get to travel through life. Happiness is just a peace and a joy that's just to our core. And yeah, we have those exciting, giddy moments of joy and happiness that's really amazing, but if we can just travel at this one vibration of just content and peace and joy in our life, and find all the good, amazing things in every day, not wait to be happy, because that honestly never comes.
That's true.
You'll get to that thing, and then you'll just pick another thing to wait to be happy for. And it just doesn't come if you're waiting for the next thing.
Exactly.
But if you realize it's already in you, and it's your way of traveling through life, then you can embrace it and find happiness in all the moments.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. That's true. It makes a lot of sense. That's the reason why people, the rich people have everything they have, yet they can say they are not happy.
Right.
You
That's
get
exactly
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. Happiness is not money. It's not in building the house. It's not in any of the things. It's not even in your kids.
Yeah.
Happiness isn't in anything, because it's already in you.
That's so true. Why do you teach people about happiness?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a really good question as well. It's because nobody seems to be happy anymore. Like, people are just so bogged down with like the day-to-day grind of life, of just survival mode. And people are just numbing out, and they just do things to not feel anymore. And I just want to elevate people. I just want people to realize there is so much goodness and amazing. I want people to look at everything as a miracle. Like, it is truly a miracle that you and I are even speaking right now.
It is.
What a miracle that is.
Yeah.
And so I just have such passion for this, which I haven't had. I know how it is to live the other way. I know how it is to dread every day and want to die. I know how it is to live every day waiting for happiness to come into my life. I know how it is to want and wish and not be happy with what I had and not be grateful. I know that way, and I don't live that way anymore. And so I just want to encourage people, like, you can find it in your life no matter what, and that's where the lemons to lemonade is a huge key. And as I share with people, and when I do my motivational speaking, I share stories of some of my lemonade makers, and I'm like, listen, this person endured this, and this is what they're doing now because of it. You can do this. And I just want to encourage people. Days are hard. Like, we have hard things happen in our life. We do. All of us do. Yeah. And we can still find happiness.
That's so
still
true.
find that peace and joy. Yeah. That's
so
why it's
true.
important to me.
Yeah, that's so true. It makes a lot of sense. I think that like you said, when you dwell too much on the negatives, you don't find any happiness there. You rather have to be positive, pull yourself out, know that everybody is going through something. There's a story that I heard, but I don't want to share it here. But sometimes what I've grown to understand is when people are not happy, they want everybody around them not to be happy.
Absolutely.
So when you are happy, to them it's like, why is she happy? When I'm not happy, what's making her happy? Why is she happy? And they try to look for ways to make you unhappy.
Right.
And
Right.
once I see
That's
that
true.
coming, I quickly block you because,
Good.
like I always say, there's so much going on in the world, and some of the things I cannot stop them from happening. Others, I can stop them from getting to me. The ones that I can stop, I will definitely and always stop from happening. So I'm going through things. Other people are going through things, but still, I try to find a way to keep me going and put me in the positive mood. So when I do that and I meet somebody who feels I cannot be happy because they are not happy, I quickly block them.
Yeah. That's a really great tactic to do that. Like, don't bring that negativity
Yeah.
into your life, because we attract things into
Yeah.
our life.
Yeah.
And a negative person will attract more negativity.
Yeah.
And you want to keep on a higher vibration, and
Exactly.
you want to have that good feeling. So I even tell people, I don't watch the news. Like, I don't bring, I don't follow celebrities on social media. Like, I just don't want to have those feelings.
Yeah.
And so I just try to work really hard on listening to things and reading and watching things that do nothing but elevate me
Exactly.
and make me want to be better.
Exactly.
That's just how I choose to live my life. And I try to find other people that are like that as well to
Yeah.
spend my time with.
Yeah.
It's a lot better way to live.
It is. And it makes life easier
Yeah.
for everyone, seriously.
Yes. And that's why I'm so grateful for that friend who blocked me,
Yeah.
because it woke me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I don't want to ever be that person, I don't want to be that person again.
Yeah.
And I'm always grateful to her for being honest and upfront with me that I just was
Yeah.
bringing her down. And
Yeah.
I don't want to ever do that again. So it's a good reminder to me as well. Like,
Yeah.
okay. But it doesn't mean every day is beautiful and perfect either. It's just what we choose to focus on.
Exactly.
That's what matters.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
How can one find real joy, peace, and love no matter what they are dealing with? I believe it's got to do with what we just spoke about. But if you have
Yeah.
something extra to add to that, I think we would like to listen to it.
Yeah, that is definitely something I teach. I teach that when I do my speaking, and I do classes at the local community college, and I spend several weeks on this very thing. And so I can tell you just the condensed thing, a couple of tips to really find peace and joy. Starts with gratitude, that we've kind of already talked about. Like, it's so simple, and you hear all the different ways to be more grateful, but I really think it's important enough that I actually have a reminder on my phone that goes off, every day in the middle of the day to remind me, like, are you finding something to be grateful for right now in whatever moment you're in? And I love that, because it just stops my brain, helps me reset and look around like, oh yeah, what am I grateful for right now in this moment, And I love being able to just really reset. So I highly recommend people just put a little timer in your phone that'll go off the same time every day, and you just reset it, and it just gets your mind from not spiraling into that negativity or into that poor me or stress or worry or whatever it is that you're dealing with. And you can stop and go, you know what? I'm really grateful for this sunrise right now, or whatever it is that you're enjoying, or this food in front of me, or whatever, anything.
Yeah.
So really a big thing is gratitude, however that works for you in your life to bring more gratitude to your life. And I think another one would probably be to forgive. I think that's a big one that we carry without realizing that we're carrying all this hate. And how much it's really affecting our soul and just affecting everything in our life. And I've learned that so many times from my lemonade stories of people who, if their family's been murdered and trying to forgive the killer of their family. Like, that to me is like, we definitely don't have it that bad. And if that person can forgive the person who killed their family, then I need to work on forgiving my neighbor or my mother or my friend, I think it really doesn't affect that person as much as it affects you carrying that hate. And so we need to work on forgiveness. So that's a huge other, that's a whole long thing about that, but that's something that definitely helps people feel more joy in their life, is if they cannot carry that resentment.
Exactly. Oh my God.
So,
Yeah.
It's a big one.
I think we've shared a lot of salient tip here, and everybody who watches or anybody who has a chance to watch this episode or listen to it will have a lot to benefit from it. But as we wrap up, what is your wish for the year and why?
What is my wish?
For this year.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
What is my wish?
Yeah.
For this year? For myself or for anything?
Anything.
Just a wish.
Yeah.
A wish for anything? I would wish that people would feel encouraged. I just want people to feel needed, listened to, appreciated, and know that whatever they're dealing with right now, they can do it.
Yeah.
They've got this.
Wow.
And to hold on. And I just want people to feel encouraged. It gets really hard right now. Like, there's a lot with coming out of the pandemic and looking at a recession and the different things we're dealing with just in our state and our community. It sometimes gets really overwhelming, and I just want people to feel encouraged and look to the good things in life and not dwell on the things that are looking a little bleak right now.
Yeah.
Just be encouraged to hang in there. Things get better. There's waves, and you
Yeah.
just have ups and downs, and
Yeah.
it'll get better.
It will. It will.
I promise.
It will.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful. Would like to say a massive thank you, Heidi, for coming on Podcast with Sheila today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm honored to talk to you, so thank you.
Wow. It was a delight hosting you. I enjoyed the conversation. I think we said a lot of things, and I believe will be a blessing to people who get the opportunity to listen to it. So if you've been listening in, this has been season 2, episode 58 of our podcast series, where we've been bringing you seasoned guests with inspiring real life stories to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. Whilst at it, please drop us a rating. We have a video presentation of this episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Podcast with Sheila on YouTube and you'd find us. Our prayer for you this week is that you find happiness and peace as you journey through life. Until we meet again, have a brilliant week.